What if the way a man behaves in bed could reveal his deepest feelings, more than any words ever could? Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, believed that true love isn't just spoken, it's unconsciously expressed through intimacy. The way a man holds you, looks at you, or even breathes with you in those vulnerable moments can expose what's really in his heart. So how do you know if it's more than just physical? Jung's insights into the unconscious mind point to 4 unmistakable signs, subtle, powerful behaviors that only happen when a man is deeply, truly in love. Jung taught us that love isn't just an emotion, it's a merging of souls, where raw, unfiltered instincts rise to the surface. When a man is emotionally bonded, his body and mind reveal truths he might not even realize himself. Today, we're uncovering 4 intimate acts that, according to Jungian psychology, prove his love runs far deeper than attraction. These aren't just habits, they're unconscious rituals of devotion. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to look for. Number 1. Deep eye contact during intimacy. There is something almost mystical about prolonged eye contact during moments of deep intimacy, something that transcends mere physical attraction and taps into the very core of emotional connection. Carl Jung often referred to the eyes as the windows to the soul, and for good reason. In his exploration of the unconscious, Jung recognized that the gaze is one of the few involuntary gateways to a person's innermost self. Unlike words, which can be carefully chosen or even deceptive, the eyes reveal truths that the mind may not yet be ready to acknowledge. When a man holds your gaze during moments of vulnerability, it is far more than a simple act of passion. It is an unspoken confession. He isn't just looking at you, he is allowing himself to be seen by you, which is one of the most profound surrenders a person can make. This kind of sustained eye contact is rare because it requires an extraordinary level of emotional presence. Many men, conditioned by societal expectations, learn to compartmentalize. Sex can be detached from emotion, a physical release rather than an act of union. But when a man is deeply in love, something shifts. The unconscious need for true connection overrides the habit of detachment. His gaze lingers because, in that moment, he isn't just physically exposed, he is emotionally exposed. Jung would argue that this is the anima at work, the inner feminine aspect of his psyche that craves depth, intimacy, and merging. The eyes, in this sense, become the bridge between 2 souls, not just 2 bodies. Conversely, avoidance of eye contact can be just as telling. A man who shields his gaze during intimacy may still feel desire, even affection, but there is likely an emotional barrier in place. Perhaps he fears the vulnerability that comes with being fully known, or perhaps he is guarding a part of himself that he isn't ready to confront. In Jungian terms, this avoidance could signal unresolved shadows, unacknowledged fears or past wounds that keep him from complete surrender. The eyes cannot lie in the way words can, and so for many, avoiding them becomes a way to maintain control. But when a man does allow that unbroken connection, it speaks volumes. It means he trusts you not just with his body, but with his self, the hidden, imperfect, unguarded version that exists beneath the surface. There is a reason lovers instinctively close their eyes during a kiss only to reopen them afterward, as if to confirm the reality of the one before them. That moment of reconnection is primal, a silent affirmation, "You are here with me, and I am here with you, fully." This is why deep eye contact is the first and perhaps most revealing sign of true emotional attachment. It isn't something that can be faked or forced. It is an unconscious offering, a moment in which 2 people exist without masks. And in that shared gaze, love announces itself, not in grand declarations, but in the quiet, unwavering certainty that here, in this space, there is no need to hide. Number 2. Prioritizing your pleasure over his own. In Jungian psychology, True intimacy requires the reconciliation of opposites, the meeting of two separate selves into something greater than the sum of its parts. This sacred union, what Jung called the Konjangshow, is not merely about physical pleasure, but about the alchemy of two souls merging in mutual surrender. Nowhere is this more evident than in the way a man approaches pleasure when he is deeply in love. Lust seeks its own satisfaction, but love seeks communion. When a man prioritizes your fulfillment over his own, it is not just generosity, it is an unconscious enactment of devotion, a silent vow that your joy is inseparable from his own. Jung believed that the shadow, the repressed, unconscious aspects of our psyche, often governs our baser instincts, including selfish desire. But when a man loves deeply, something remarkable happens. His higher self overrides those primal impulses. He delays his own gratification not out of obligation, but because the act of giving becomes its own reward. This is the union of opposites in its purest form, the masculine drive to pursue harmonizing with the feminine principle of receptivity. In that balance, sex transforms from a transactional act into a sacred exchange. You'll notice this in the way he studies your responses, remembers what brings you pleasure, and derives genuine satisfaction from your fulfillment. His attention isn't performative, it's instinctive, as if your body were an extension of his own. Contrast this with encounters rooted solely in physical craving. Lust consumes, it takes what it wants with little regard for the other. But love nurtures. A man under the spell of infatuation might focus on his own pleasure, but a man in love will find himself undone by yours. Jung would trace this shift to the anima's influence, the inner feminine guiding him toward empathy, tenderness, and a desire to merge beyond the physical. This is why the smallest acts, the way he lingers in aftercare, the way he asks, "Was that good for you?" with sincere curiosity, reveal more about his heart than any grand gesture ever could. This selflessness extends beyond the bedroom. Jung saw relationships as mirrors, reflecting back the parts of ourselves we must either confront or heal. A man who gives freely in intimacy is often one who has faced his own shadows, his fears of inadequacy, his need for control, and emerged willing to serve rather than take. That vulnerability is the hallmark of real love. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. When he puts your pleasure first, he's whispering with his body what words could never fully capture. You are sacred to me. In the end, this behavior is love's fingerprint, impossible to counterfeit, effortless in its authenticity. It proves that his devotion isn't just skin deep, it's soul deep. And that, according to Jung, is where the most profound transformations begin. Number 3. Post-sex affection and emotional openness. The moments after intimacy reveal more about a man's true feelings than the act itself. Carl Jung understood that physical closeness has the power to dissolve defenses, temporarily quieting the ego and allowing the unconscious to surface. When a man is deeply in love, sex becomes more than a climax. It becomes a doorway to emotional nakedness. This is why post-sex behavior is so telling. The way he holds you, the words he shares, the vulnerability he displays when the passion subsides. These are not conscious choices, but unconscious revelations of how he truly sees you. Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden, often repressed parts of our psyche, explains why many men struggle with vulnerability. Society conditions men to associate strength with emotional restraint, teaching them to retreat after physical intimacy as if affection somehow diminishes their masculinity. But when a man loves deeply, this conditioning fails him. His shadow, the wounded, sensitive self he typically keeps guarded, emerges without his permission. He might pull you closer instead of turning away, share childhood memories, or simply rest his forehead against yours in silent communion. These are not calculated moves. They are the psyche's rebellion against pretense, proof that he associates you with safety rather than just pleasure. This post-sex vulnerability serves an important psychological function. Jung believed that true intimacy requires integration, the merging of our light and dark aspects with another person. When a man remains emotionally present after sex, he's demonstrating that he trusts you with his whole self, not just his desire. The way he strokes your hair absent-mindedly or shares a private thought reveals that his defenses have momentarily collapsed. There is no performance here, no seduction, just the raw, unfiltered truth of his attachment to you. Contrast this with encounters where a man withdraws immediately after climax. While not always indicative of emotional absence, this separation often suggests that his connection to you remains primarily physical. The ego quickly rebuilds its walls, reasserting control where moments before there was surrender. But when a man lingers, when he treats the afterglow as something precious rather than an inconvenience, he's showing you what Jung called the transcendent function in action, the ability of love to dissolve the boundaries between two people. Ultimately, post-sex affection is love's most honest language. It's in these quiet moments, when the body is sated and the mind unguarded, that the heart speaks loudest. A man who opens up to you here isn't just sharing his bed, he's sharing his inner world. And that, according to Jung, is the surest sign that what he feels is far deeper than desire. It's the recognition of souls. Number 4. Synchronized movements and unconscious mirroring. In the silent language of lovers, the most profound truths are spoken not through words, but through the unconscious choreography of bodies moving in perfect harmony. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious, that deep reservoir of primal memory shared by all humanity, helps explain why two people deeply in love often fall into spontaneous synchronization. When his breathing slows to match yours, when your limbs entangle without thought or effort, when a simple touch seems to communicate more than paragraphs ever could, these are not coincidences, but biological poetry. They are evidence that your connection has moved beyond conscious intention into the realm of instinct, where the ancient wisdom of the body overrides the calculated movements of the mind. Jung believed this phenomenon stemmed from what he called participation mystique, a primordial state of emotional oneness where boundaries between individuals temporarily dissolve. In ordinary life, we maintain careful control over our physicality, but love has a way of dismantling these barriers. When a man is emotionally surrendered, his nervous system begins to resonate with yours in what science now calls limbic synchrony. His heartbeat may subtly adjust to yours. His gestures might mirror yours like echoes across some invisible bridge between souls. This isn't imitation, it's communion, the body's way of declaring what the conscious mind might still be too guarded to admit. We are no longer separate. The significance of this synchronization becomes especially apparent during moments of deep stillness. Notice how, when lying together in quiet intimacy, you might both shift positions simultaneously or sigh in the same rhythm. These micro-moments reveal that your connection operates on a level far deeper than social interaction. It's a biological dance encoded in our very DNA. Jung would argue this represents the archetype of the divine couple manifesting in real time, that ancient symbol of wholeness found in myths across cultures. Your bodies are quite literally remembering what your minds may have forgotten, that love at its highest form is a return to unity. Contrast this with the stiff, self-conscious movements of casual encounters, where each participant remains acutely aware of their separateness. Without emotional investment, the body stays guarded, movements remain calculated, and true synchronization rarely occurs. But when love is present, the need for this vigilance melts away. His hand finds the small of your back exactly when you need support. Your head nestles into the curve of his shoulder as if the space was made just for you. This effortless alignment is the physical manifestation of what Jung called enantiodromia, the tendency of opposites to move toward their counterpart, creating balance. What makes these unconscious movements so profoundly intimate is their complete authenticity. Unlike spoken declarations which can be crafted or controlled, the body's language of love cannot be falsified. When his body moves in silent harmony with yours, it's the purest expression of his psyche's recognition. You are not other, but extension. Not object, but home. In these wordless moments, Jung's theories cease to be abstract concepts and become living truth, that in the alchemy of true connection, two separate beings can momentarily touch the divine unity from which we all came. This is why synchronized movement remains love's most ancient and sacred dance, choreographed not by conscious will, but by the timeless wisdom of the unconscious mind. Carl Jung, the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist, saw love as far more than a fleeting emotion or social construct. It was a profound psychological event, a collision of the conscious and unconscious mind. At the heart of his theory lies the concept of the anima and animus, the hidden feminine and masculine aspects within each of us. According to Jung, every man carries an inner feminine image, the anima, shaped by his experiences, expectations, and even cultural influences. When he falls deeply in love, he isn't just drawn to a woman, he's encountering a reflection of his own soul. This is why the right partner doesn't just feel exciting, she feels familiar, as if she's always been part of him. The stronger the emotional pull, the more his anima aligns with her essence, creating an almost mystical sense of recognition. This is why some loves feel destined, as if they were written in the stars, because, in a way, they were written in his psyche long before they ever met. But this projection is only the beginning. True intimacy, in Jung's view, requires something far more vulnerable, the willingness to lower the masks we wear in daily life. Most men are conditioned to suppress their sensitivity, to armor themselves against judgment. Yet when a man is deeply in love, something shifts. The unconscious mind, the vast, hidden part of us that stores instincts, fears, and desires, begins to override his defenses. He doesn't just want to be close, he needs it at a primal level. This is why you'll notice subtle but unmistakable shifts in his behavior when he's emotionally bonded. He might share childhood memories without prompting, or his body language might soften in ways he can't control. These aren't calculated choices, they're involuntary surrenders to the depth of his connection. Jung also believed that the unconscious speaks most clearly in moments of intimacy, not just through words, but through symbols, sensations, and instinctive actions. Think of the way lovers synchronize their breathing, or how a man's touch becomes almost reverent when his emotions are fully engaged. These aren't just romantic gestures, they're manifestations of the unconscious mind weaving two people together. In Jungian terms, love is alchemy. It transforms the base metal of physical attraction into the gold of spiritual union. And when a man is truly in love, his unconscious will betray him in the most beautiful ways. So how does this hidden psychology reveal itself in the bedroom? The answer lies in 4 unmistakable behaviors, acts so intimate, so revealing, that they bypass the conscious mind entirely. These aren't tricks or learned techniques, they're the raw, unfiltered language of a man's heart. Now, let's dive into the 4 intimate behaviors that expose his true feelings. These 4 unconscious behaviors, deep eye contact, selfless giving, post-sex vulnerability, and synchronized movement, form the silent language of a man's devotion. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that love is never just an emotion, it's an embodied truth, written in the unguarded moments between two people. If your partner does these things, you're not just sharing a physical connection, you're sharing a psychological and spiritual bond that transcends the ordinary. So now we turn it over to you. Does your partner show these signs of deep love? Have you noticed other unconscious behaviors that reveal his true feelings? Share your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories and insights. If this exploration of love through Jung's lens resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more psychology-driven relationship wisdom. Want to go deeper? Let us know if you'd like our next video to uncover Jung's red flags in relationships, the hidden psychological warnings that reveal when a connection may be unhealthy or unfulfilling. Until then, remember, the body never lies about love. Pay attention to what's whispered beneath the words, and you'll always know where you truly stand.